Hi, I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to hypno-coaching, spirituality, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you'd like to know more about my professional work, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Today I want to talk about wearing hearing aids. Now, this subject might not be of interest to some of you, especially if your hearing is fine. However, your hearing might not always be fine, and you are certain to know someone or have someone in your family who has a hearing loss. And I hope what I'm sharing today will be helpful in those cases. I wear two hearing aids and have for decades. Now, I maintain a shaved head style, so I have no hair to cover my ears, and I wear behind the ear hearing aids, which are the most obvious form. There are many smaller styles. But most people don't notice that I have hearing aids on, and they're surprised when I mention that I'm a hard of hearing person. So the first thing to grasp is that modern hearing aid technology is quite low profile and works really well. In years past, hearing aids were analog, that is to say, they were little amplifiers. They took sound and made it louder. That was better than nothing, but far from ideal. Modern hearing aids are digital. That is, they're little computers. They listen to the sound in the environment, turn that sound into data, manipulate the data according to your audiogram, which is a graphic representation of your hearing loss, and then turn that data back into sound using a little amplifier inserted in your ear canal. As an example, I do not hear well in higher ranges. When a woman sings soprano, I have a hard time hearing her. My hearing aids don't address that by trying to make that sound loud. Instead, they take the sound and transform it into a range I do hear better. It doesn't make the sound louder, but it changes it into something I can hear. And my hearing aids work in conjunction with my iPhone. When the sound landscape is complicated, the hearing aids offload some of their computer work to the chip in the phone, which is much more powerful than something you could put in something you're wearing behind your ears. And because they're connected to my smartphone, my hearing aids also work like stereo headphones. I can listen to music or videos on my phone, and only I can hear the sound because it streams directly to my hearing aids. I can also use them to listen to phone calls, and my hearing aids even become my headset when working with my recording system. I even have a gadget that streams the TV audio directly to my hearing aids as well. So if my wife wants the house quiet and I want to watch a slasher or shoot 'em up movie, I can do that and she doesn't hear a thing. Digital hearing aids also deal with background sounds. I'm sure you've had the experience of going into a restaurant and it was loud. Well, that's because hard surfaces are easier to clean, so food service establishments favor them. My hearing aids listen to the background sound, and then just like noise-canceling headphones, they take that sound out of what I hear. So in a noisy restaurant, I can usually hear better than everyone else at the table. Yet for some reason, people resist getting fitted for hearing aids, even when, they really need them. I confess I have a hard time understanding that because to me, wearing hearing aids is no different than, say, wearing corrective glasses. Now, perhaps it's because I've always known I would lose my hearing. All the men in my family do, starting in their 40s. So I grew up with the idea and didn't resist it. But I've seen lots of examples of people who have, including, unfortunately, my own father. I used to tell him, try it, you'll like it. Getting hearing aids is not like getting castrated, but to no avail. I suspect part of the reason for this resistance is that, unlike wearing eyeglasses, hearing aids do not work instantly in the way that putting a pair of glasses on does work. A person loses his or her hearing slowly, so slowly you don't notice it. You cope, you manage, but eventually it gets bad enough that the people around you start to notice. And when you can't hear well but want to pretend that you do, you get into the habit of giving ambiguously positive responses to what people say. And they think you've heard them because you seem to be agreeing, but you really haven't, and you've no idea what they actually said. When you get to this point, problems are certain. You will become interpersonally isolated. Other people will figure out you're not hearing them, and they stop trying to communicate. Nothing good comes from that. The problem is that when you've got someone who has gradually lost their hearing and you fit them for a pair of hearing aids, all of a sudden they can hear things that they may not have been able to hear for decades. And it can be frightening and distracting. The name for this is hyperacusis. And not realizing that if they just stick with it, the brain will adjust. People stop wearing the aids to avoid that scary startle response. And hearing aids are expensive. A pair of hearing aids will cost thousands of dollars, and insurance will often not cover the cost. High-end aids cost substantially more, and you'll need to replace them every 4 to 8 years. But being able to hear is worth it. You also have to learn to clean them, change the filters, charge them, keep them dry, and all of that form of maintenance. Now, you may have heard about a new law that allows people to buy hearing aids over the counter without going to an audiologist for a hearing test and a prescription. This is possible because modern hearing aids have artificial intelligence. And if your hearing loss is simple, you can probably figure out the best settings on your own with the help of your smartphone. These aids are only starting to be available, and I'm in favor of them. They're much less expensive, and I'm hopeful that people will start to experiment with them before their hearing loss has become a problem. But over-the-counter hearing aids will not help someone like myself with a more serious problem. We will continue to need higher-end instruments custom fitted by a doctor of audiology. The situation will be like the one that exists regarding glasses. If all you need is something to help you read as you've gotten older, you can go into any drugstore and purchase an inexpensive set of reading glasses and be fine. But if you've got a serious vision problem, you need to go get a prescription pair of glasses. It'll be that way for hearing aids too. The takeaway on all of this is that if you think you're losing your hearing, you probably are. The sooner you get your hearing tested and get yourself fitted for a pair of hearing aids, the better off you will be. If you'll wait, you'll need far more expensive instruments, and you will struggle with hyperacusis, and you'll have already injured your relationships with other people because you've not really been hearing what they've been saying. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. If I can be of help to you, don't hesitate to reach out. Stay well and stay safe.